Hey guys, it's Glaucosama 2, and today we're going to be getting into how 2K can save their reputation. I made a video not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and I've been getting a lot of support on it. I appreciate it. But yeah, I kind of had a different outlook on how 2K, how 2K25 isn't as bad as people say it is, and how to take two or the 2K community as a whole just has a problem where they just decide to complain about everything instead of actually making constructive criticism in order for the developers to actually input the things that the community wants. But this is in no way to say that 2K is perfect. 2K is not perfect. It has a lot of flaws, and I feel like a lot of those flaws stem from the fact that 2K just has a horrible reputation when it comes to the people that actually play the game. But before we get started, make sure you guys hit like and sub. The algorithm and all that, Glaucosama 2, get me on a map. And I appreciate all the support from last video. But let's not waste any of y'all time. Let's get straight into the video. So 2K can, fix their reputation, and I think there's three major ways that they need to change in order to fix their reputation. And the first way, or the first thing that they have to do, is take accountability for all the mistakes that they've done. And by mistakes, you might be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, releasing games in general is a mistake. Nah, I'm playing. The 2Ks are not that bad, but they had made quite a lot of mistakes throughout their careers. Developers continue to I wouldn't say developers, is not their fault, but the company continues to interpret false or bad practices when it comes to loot boxes, when it comes to my team, and especially microtransactions. A lot of companies are trying to die down in microtransactions because people are realizing this is not okay. This isn't something that we do, especially with the fact that majority of gamers are little kids. So a lot of little kids are spending a lot of money on these games, and it's not their money, it's their parents' money, but it just enacts them into later becoming addicts to spending money, stuff like gambling. It's a lot of issues that come with that. Okay, paid for their sins, and eventually actually gave a fuck about their community and saw that the negative effects that loot boxes and all those things have, especially with the fact that in Europe it's not even legal. So I don't even know how they're bypassing that over there in Europe. I'm assuming that they have the same game, unless they lock that. I'm not too sure. I live in America. But yeah, stop turning the blind eye to the majority of mistakes that they continue to make. They need to actually look at the mistakes that they made and actually act on it, especially when it comes to microtransactions and loot boxes. Just imagine a 2K where we don't have to spend $200 on like a couple of builds just to have fun on the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be an incredible game. It's a basketball game. Everybody likes basketball, and when it comes to basketball games, there isn't too much competition that they have, and that isn't a reason why you should just continue with false or bad practices when it comes to your consumers. A good morale company would actually enact good practices when it comes to their consumers, because that's where they make their money. But the problem is that 2K just knows that they'll make money anyways because they don't have any other competition. So they'll continue to pump out these microtransaction filled games that are lackluster, and since it's a yearly release, we don't really see much improvement from game to game. Now, another way that 2K could actually fix their reputation when it comes to the community is actually involving themselves within the community, because it wasn't too long ago where developers were seen in park actually playing their game. Now, if you see a developer, it's almost like seeing God. Like, they don't even play the game that they make anymore. I mean, when you look at the top 2K YouTubers of all time, like Cash Nasty, like LSK, like Pretty Boy Fredo, they moved on, and there's a reason why they moved on. There's nothing to do here. It's almost dead. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is because there's no community to begin with. The game isn't even community filled. There's nobody that genuinely wants to play this game anymore. I mean, back in like 2K16, 2K17, YouTubers made the community. The game didn't do it itself. Yet, you know what I'm saying, the community was live. But now that like the YouTubers kind of died down and they aren't playing 2K as much, I guess the game just gave up. Like, they don't even try to make any sort of community within themselves. There's such a disconnect between developers and actual players of the game, and then YouTubers on top of that, because honestly, I couldn't tell you any recent YouTubers right now by name that play 2K consistently. And it's kind of sad to see that the 2K community is just completely dead now. Like, even on launch, like, it isn't live like it used to be. Like, people used to be hype for the new 2K game, and now it's just just another game. It's just another year. It's going to be the same game as last year, and there's nothing to really be excited about. I mean, the literal trailer for NBA 2K25 got less views than Pretty Boy Fredo's ongoing Park series from NBA 2K16. Consistently, he was making more than 1.7 million views per video. And the trailer for the game, now like what, 10 years down the line, can't even reach more than 1.3 million views? Like, what happened? And you can't tell me this is not just the fault of the people that played it. This is on the actual marketing team. They need to make some sort of community. They need to make people excited for the game, and they kind of just gave up because it's kind of like, we're just going to release the game, they're going to buy it, and then after they buy it, who cares? Instead of actually endorsing people to play the game, actually endorsing people to play the game that they should have made with love and appreciation of the game of basketball, but instead they're making it just to get another check. Imagine if all the old YouTubers came back, like something like it's so simple as in just paying Cash Nasty, paying Pretty, like I'm not gonna say Pretty Boy Fredo because he kind of went down the slippery slope of, I don't even know, ego death, I guess. But paying these old YouTubers to come back and play the game again and kind of get like a community pumping, like that's the whole point. Do they just not have a marketing team? Like, I feel like that's what it is. They just don't have a marketing team that is sufficient enough to actually create any sort of like stigma for the game. Now, the very last way that 2K could actually save their reputation, and this is kind of like a reach, like a pretty far reach, but considering the fact that we did get NCAA football game, fuck, I can't even speak. We got NCAA college football. It's not too far-fetched to say that we could get an NCAA basketball game, even though, it would be a little bit more different. I was originally watching a video from King of the Fourth Quarter where, it was a couple of days ago. He was playing, I think the last one, I'm not sure. I think it was 07 actually, but the last one was NCAA 2K10. That was the very last college basketball game that was released. Now, it's on record that 2K said basically there was a lack of interest within the game. So, they just kind of stopped making it because there was no point in making it if no one was playing it. But honestly, this is the time where you just pull out all your cards because, I mean, if it keeps going down this road, it's just a slippery slope to where people just stop buying your game. I know you've made it to 2K25 and you feel like you're on a high horse because people are just buying it just to buy it. But as soon as someone steps in with a better basketball game and is able to grab the licensing from 2K, well, scratch that, because 2K did just sign a deal last year extending their NBA licensing for another 7 years. So we're not going to have NBA Live anytime soon. But I mean, regardless, you don't really need the NBA licensing to make a good basketball game. If somebody makes an RPG style basketball game where they can play in like some Chinese league or something and it's actually decent and they got like a park mode, they don't even need an online mode. I think just 2K just needs like a reality check because they kind of live in a monopoly. If anything, we should add a fourth reason, and that being breaching their contract and letting NBA Live come back so they, we have other options when it comes to basketball game. But an even better idea would be making your own competition. Now, I know it sounds dumb, but people will buy both games. I mean, people bought both college football and they bought Madden 25. Well, I didn't, but a majority of people did, and it's a good fresh idea. On top of that, if both games are being made by Take-Two Interactive, it doesn't really matter which one they buy. Regardless, you're getting money, so you might even get more people to buy. On top of all the features that you can add from your very last college basketball game that you could add into your NBA game, because they have a lot more features, I would say, in like the My League mode of the college game. But regardless, you can really just build upon that. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard for people like developers to grasp what the people want. Like, I feel like there's just a big disconnect and there's just no effort to actually find the connection. You know what I'm saying? And it's more on the developers part, but it is on the 2K community part, because all we do is sit here and complain. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of doing that right now, but I'm also giving constructive criticism. I'm telling them what we want in a more direct way. I'm not even trying to be rude about it. And that's kind of where, like, my other video comes into play. 2K, like, players just complain. They bitch all day. That's all they do. They just bitch about shit, and they bitch about shit that doesn't really matter. It's not really important. And you know, a lot of these YouTubers make money off just bitching about the same thing. Like, okay, bro, we get it. Microtransactions are bad, and I'm not telling you to stop talking about it. But at the same time, if you just keep whining and crying about some shit instead of actually trying to give constructive criticism, I feel like all the developers honestly don't even want to get a part of the community because it's so toxic. And that doesn't even mention the fact, you know, 2K community would, or like 2K YouTubers were being toxic towards each other. Like, it was so much stupid stuff going on. Like, the 2K community is just an amalgamation of dumb people. But that's enough of my tangent. I'm not gonna go off on everybody. And you know, if you feel hurt, you know what I'm saying. If the shoe fits, that's all I'm gonna say. You know, go ahead and hit sub and like. Please like and sub. I do appreciate it a lot. Please make sure y'all watching my video all the way through. I love every one of y'all, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Like or something, loves you guys. Bye bye.